So which year is more hectic, first year or second year?
Classes in first year are very dense with a lot of concepts, diagrams, charts, and research stuff.
How did you try to extract more out of the peer learning process?
Most seniors or peers are more than willing to help. Once you do that, a lot of your problems are sorted.
How was your interview experience?
BCG was my first interview that day. That is definitely the highlight for me.
So when you say grueling second round, any questions you can share? Hello everyone. Today we have one of our ex-student, Shivam, with us, who went to IIMC and then finally got into BCG. So congrats Shivam on BCG and welcome to this podcast.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me on. And it is certainly a pleasure to be back.
Yes. So Shivam, this entire podcast will be aimed at about your life in IIM Calcutta, life beyond IIM Calcutta, and your little bit of stories about the placement process and all these things. So before we start, let us know about your background before joining IIMC.
So I grew up across 6 states in the country, and I had performed fairly well at academics. I was consistent with that, and I was quite active with extracurriculars as well. I took part in Olympiads. I underwent formal training in vocal classical music as well as painting. So I had a well-rounded personality. Even at college, I was a part of a lot of student clubs and committees. So all of that provided me with a lot of exposure and helped me not just build a profile for a B school, but also equipped me with skills that were quite important at B school as well.
Right. So when you were in your graduation years, what inspired you to go for MBA, especially IIM Calcutta?
There wasn't a particular trigger that pushed me down that path. There were essentially a chain of events. When I was at school, I had this idea at the back of my mind that I would somewhere down the line want to pursue an MBA. But in the later half of my undergraduation, that is particularly in third and fourth year, when we had plant visits and stuff, I realized that although the technical aspect of chemical engineering was something that I was interested in, but my long-term aspirations and ambitions would better be suited to an MBA program. An MBA would equip me with the right skills and the right mindset to get into a role that I wanted for myself. So that essentially was my rationale behind pursuing an MBA.
So tell us about that feeling. Recall that feeling when you finally knew that you have converted IIM Calcutta, one of the best B schools in the country. How was the reaction? What was the family's reaction? Your own feeling?
I was completely ecstatic, and so was my family. It was definitely a dream come true for me, and IIM Calcutta was my best call. And the next best call that I had was FMS. So amongst the Blackie IIMs, I had only IIM Calcutta. And converting my best call was something that certainly put me on cloud nine. And I completely remember how I felt at that time. I was also with my grandparents, so they were quite happy as well. That is it about it.
Wonderful. And we also want all our students to have the same feeling. So they should work hard. They should take cue from your journey, right? So let us talk about life at IIM Calcutta. So the first few weeks, as we know, is very hectic across all the top B schools. Even when I went, I think 15 years back, the same scenario is today also. So how would you define your first few weeks at IIM Calcutta?
The first thing that I felt when I entered the campus was a feeling of being awestruck. When you realize that your dream B school is right in front of your eyes, you're stepping into that gate, you're stepping into that campus, you realize that your dream has finally come true, so that hits you. The second thing, of course, is you get to know, you get to meet a lot of people from different backgrounds. So that is quite exciting. And the third feeling that is quite specific to IIM Calcutta is related to its weather. It's quite hot and humid there.
Right.
And we are all stuffed into our hostel rooms that are small and do not have a lot of ventilation. So that leads to a lot of struggle. But then all of us, we bond over that struggle and create lasting friendships.
So finally, you adjust to it after a few weeks, right? Because humid
Yes.
Right. So if you have to tell us about your normal day at IMC, a typical day, how would it be? When do you wake up? When do you go to classes? Evening time, night time? What all you do?
So the routine is quite different for first and second year students.
Right.
For first year, it generally starts at around 8 or 10, depending on when your classes begin.
Right.
And the classes usually extend until around 4 in the evening, and you have a small lunch break, a 1 hour lunch break in the middle. And once you're once you're done with classes, you either rest for a bit or go for snacks, and then get to study. You either you have pre-reads for the next day, so you go through the cases, or you have assignments, you prepare those, or you're working on projects, so you have meetings with team members, you discuss on what stuff you're going to do for the project. And with that, you're almost at dinner time. You have dinner, and then you definitely have something else to do. Either it is your self study or something else. So you get into that, and you uh, retire by around 12:30, 1 or 2, depending on the kind of tasks you have on hand.
Right. So which year is more hectic? First year or second year?
First year is more hectic, and second year is quite different because you have a lot of project oriented courses. Plus, because a lot of visiting faculties are also coming in, so you have a lot of classes on Saturdays and Sundays as well.
Mhm. Okay. So
That's the difference.
okay. So IIM Calcutta is known as the Lakeside campus. So any interesting story or traditions or which you can share with us regarding that?
Of course, sir, wherever you go, you'll find a lake. There are around 7 lakes in campus,
Right.
and which is why we also have the 7 Lakes Fest, which is our cultural festival.
Right.
Uh, so there's a small, I would say, superstition that all students at IIM Calcutta have. So when it rains heavily and the lakes ultimately overflow, the next placement season is usually considered to be amazing, because that is a superstition we follow. And apart from that, there are a lot of monitor lizards that stay in the lake, so you might spot one every now and then.
Okay. So basically, God gives the signal. Heavy rains is a kind of the upcoming placement season will be good because the rains have shown it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That is something I had
In
heard.
fact, we had in
Yeah.
fact we had the lakes overflow last year.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So good news for your batch. Fine. So when it comes to the academic curriculum in IMC, so any academic challenge you faced, any subject, anything which bothered you a lot?
First term is quite hectic, and especially as a student from engineering background, when you don't know a lot about finance or economics, and you're made to sit in these finance and economics classes and bombarded with a lot of information. Classes in first year are very dense with a lot of concepts, diagrams, charts, and research stuff. So that might be overwhelming in the beginning. And you might look at it in this way. You are a fast train that is entering a tunnel, which is dark, and everything is very fast paced. You don't understand what is happening around you, but towards the end, when you do exit the tunnel, there's always light in the end. So that is perhaps the best way I can put it.
Right, right, right. Let's talk about the culture at IMC. So, how diverse was your batch in terms of background and academic diversity?
My batch was quite diverse, both in terms of academics as well as work experience. We had students from all kinds of institutes, uh, engineers, or students who had pursued BCom, BA, BBA, even some from NIFT. So that makes the academic background quite diverse.
Mhm.
And if you also look at the work experience, although we had a lot of freshers, but we also had some students who had more than 5 or 6 years of work experience. So in both ways, the batch composition is tailored in such a way that it fosters peer-to-peer learning.
So what was the rough batch size?
We have 480 students in
480.
one batch.
Right. And if you can recall the person with the maximum number of number of years.
I think it was somewhere around 7 years.
7 years. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Peer learning is what all the top B schools aim for, and that is why they have this campus, residential campus. But then it also leads to a healthy competition, right? So how did you manage or how did you try to extract more out of the peer learning process?
So, as I mentioned in the previous answer, the batch size, the batch composition helps you have a comprehensive perspective on problems.
Right.
Second, is you have to be proactive on your own. There are a lot of people who would help you, including seniors, your batchmates, or faculty. But it is just that you have to have the urge from within to go ahead and ask them. And once you do that, you tell them that you're facing such and such issue, or you ask them to help you with a specific problem that you're facing. Most seniors or peers are more than willing to help you. Once you do that, a lot of your problems are sorted. So that is one approach that I followed whenever I felt stuck. I approached people. I was frank with the issues that I was facing. And more often than not, I had somebody who could guide me as to what I'm supposed to.
Right. So basically, that inhibition has to be broken, that people will not support or people will not have time for you. I had also
Yes.
seen in my days that if you go to a senior, professor, faculty, whatever, people are more than willing to help. You just need to reach out with the right question. The clarity of the question is important. If that is there, then
Yes.
you will get help from all
Yes.
of us, right? Let's talk about the internships and placements at IIMC. So, how was the internship experience? Was it very chaotic as it happens, or was it smooth for you?
My internship experience was smooth overall.
Okay.
Although it was my first corporate experience, I do not have a particular idea as to how I would have to work, what kind of project I would have, and things like that. But I think the HR at EMNS India, where I interned, and my own manager were very helpful. Uh, they guided me the right way and also provided me the right amount of freedom and ownership with my project. So that allowed me to solve for the problem that I had that had been allotted to me. And in the end, it all worked out well. And I also got a PPO from there.
Okay, so BCG was where you interned.
No, I interned at ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India at their Mumbai office.
Okay.
I got a PPO from there, although I wanted to pursue consulting for my finals. So I rejected the PPO, sat through the finals process,
Okay.
and went to BCG for finals.
Is that allowed in IIMC? Because nowadays, when you used, okay, so PPO rejection is definitely possible. Normally,
Yes.
people don't reject PPO because they are very uncertain about the placement process. It's very chaotic. But then it was very bold and very courageous of you that you had confidence in your abilities that you will sit through and get a good placement. So,
Yes, sir. That was one risk that I had to take.
right.
And in fact, I did that back when I was preparing for MBA as well. After CAT 21, I had gotten IFT, but I rejected that offer because I wanted to go to a better B school
Yes.
and ultimately went to IIM. So I think that works for me somehow.
The risk taking ability is there in you, and that is definitely a good sign for your future. You have a long career, and this attribute will definitely give you a lot of rewards. So that's wonderful to know.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, wonderful. So regarding the placements, so any placement day memory, if you can recall, because when we are sitting for finals, every day 15-20 companies are coming. I'm not sure about IMC, but I think that's the
Yep.
norm at all these schools. So it's very difficult to run from one classroom to the other or one cabin to the other for the placement process and all. So how was your interview experience?
So you described it absolutely correctly. That is what happens. You have to run from one room to another, and there are a lot of companies interviewing candidates at the same time. But fortunately, uh, BCG was my first interview that day, and I ended up converting it. So that is definitely the highlight for me from that day. And it is particularly so because I had a grueling second round and it was quite tough. So getting an offer after that is definitely memorable.
So when you say grueling second round, any questions you can share which was, or the entire experience, why did you find it so tough?
It was quite a stress interview and I was being grilled throughout the 30 minutes of it. So whatever I said was being cross questioned and it was essentially to create stress and to make me panic thoughts.
Basically,
But
see
somehow,
how you respond to stress situation, right?
yes, but somehow I held my nerves. I stayed calm throughout the interview and pushed through it. Uh, so finally, I ended up.
Because in consulting, I understand that it's a very stressful job because you have to meet so many people, deadlines, and all those stuff. And basically, maybe they might be testing that. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Let us talk about career from now onwards after you have passed out from IIMC and getting into BCG. So, how do you feel that IIMC has equipped what essential skills or tools or the transformative experience which you were talking about before the interview? How all that has equipped you to face the corporate world?
So the academics, I would break it down into two parts. The first would be academics, the kind of subjects that you're taught, right from finance to economics to a little bit of history as well, and operations, and everything builds a foundation for you to understand the business properly. So that is about the technical aspect of the technical aspect of business, to be precise. And the second thing would be equipping you with the soft skills. So the competitive environment which we were talking about earlier uh, makes you push your limits, makes you work harder, makes you more disciplined and dedicated. And there are a lot of presentations that you give throughout your 2 years. So that improves upon your communication, the way you interact with people, the way you put out your message. These are certain aspects that impact you very deeply and therefore equip you with the right skill sets to tackle challenges in the future.
So, do you feel that the 2 years at IMC, apart from giving you the technical know-how, has also shaped your personality, given you certain personal proficient tools or how to increase the productivity? All in all those aspects, has it helped you?
Definitely, sir. It has had wide-ranging impact. So as I talked about the competition, it always keeps you on your toes. You are always proactive. Whenever a new challenge pops up, you try to solve it then and there. For instance, we had a subject called logistics and supply chain management. For that, we were working on a project on quick commerce. Pardon.
Maybe.
And for that, we visited the dark stores of Blinkit and Basket. So we interacted with their employees. So all of these broaden your horizon and improve your interpersonal skills. That was the second thing. And the third thing is you also develop a resilience of sorts because not everything will pan out the way you want it to. There are some subjects where you will not score well. There are some shortlists you will not have. And these are certain rejections that you have to accept and you have to move on without stopping without stopping working. So
So basically,
these are three aspects where I think I have improved on my.
facing failures with a smile and not stopping. That's the mantra, right? So let us have some quick facts. How many case studies you must have read, solved in those 2 years?
It must have been more than 50. That is a conservative estimate according.
Right. And how many presentations you must have given in the college?
For every subject, you can look at an average of two presentations. So you'll have 6 into 3, 18 plus you can double it. So around 50 presentations.
Right. And how many parties did you have in the campus?
Uh, well, IIM Calcutta is known for its parties. We have a lot of parties almost every weekend, but I'm not essentially a party person, so I stay away from parties. I don't like the loud music.
Okay. How many close friends you made from the campus?
We had a group of four, and that group stayed throughout.
Wonderful.
Uh, we were part of the same wing. We had adjacent rooms, so we
Okay.
could walk into each other's rooms every now and then. And the memories we made there while staying together in second year are truly unforgettable.
Yeah, so I'll just wish that you stay like that and continue having that relationship, because many times we are very good friends in college. If I give you my example, we had a group, but then as life takes its own course, people move out to the cities, and the interaction reduces once you have family and all those stuff. But try to keep the group as close as possible, because that will help you not only on the professional front, on the personal front also.
The,
And,
the silver lining here is that we are all in the same location,
wonderful,
uh,
wonderful.
so we have the luxury of meeting a little long.
Yes, yes, yes. And where are the other three your friends placed?
One of my friend is also going to BCG. The other one is going to Nomura Research Institute, that is NRI Consulting, and another one is going to Zomato. So all four of us got placed in great companies.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let us talk about your advice to people who are writing CAT 25 this year. What advice would you give? So from your journey, from your CAT prep journey, what two, three key advices you would want to give them?
The first would be to identify your strengths and weaknesses. It is an audit of sorts. Do it as early as possible so that you know what aspects you're good at and what aspects you need to improve and work hard on. That is first. Second would be, once you've identified the weaknesses, start working on them in a strategic manner. Make a plan as to how you would tackle them. For instance, if uh, you look at my example, I faltered in DILR in CAT 21. So that dented my confidence, and I wanted to be absolutely sure that my DILR prep was solid. So I took it in a stepwise manner. I first solved the basic questions to have an idea of the 10 to 15 primary approaches that one has to solve any DILR question.
Right.
Once that was done, I took to PYQs, I took to mocks, I also took to sectional mocks. And all of these put together not just helped me improve my confidence, but uh, also introduced me to new questions and new approaches to solve those questions. And the third thing that I did was I used to note down all these new problems that I encountered or the mistakes that I made throughout those mocks. And I revisited them every now and then. So that kept reinforcing the positive patterns that I wanted in my prep. So these three steps is something that every student should undertake so that they have a solid idea of where they stand and where they want to be.
And I would like to reiterate the third point which you said, error log. So maintaining an error log of what mistakes you are doing is very important. So that, because
Yeah.
when we prepare for CAT, it's a long journey, arduous journey. So if you just ensure that you're not making the same mistake again and again, so that will take care of 50% of the problem. What happens is we tend to forget what we have studied last month. So revision is definitely a key, but then maintaining an error log, and before going to any mock, just ensuring that you don't make those mistakes, and that helps a lot. Fine. So let us talk about the clubs, events, and so were you part of any club in the college?
Yes, in first year, I had a sort of healthy competition with one of my friends, and we ended up applying to almost all clubs and joined around 6 to 7 of them.
Okay. What was
So
your
that was,
okay? Which was your
uh,
favorite club in that? In those six?
of course, consulting club because I was interested in consulting. But then in second year, when you take POR, you are responsible for organizing events or handling operations of clubs and things like that. I chose two clubs. I was the events head at the consulting club, and I was also the sponsorship head at TEDx IIM Calcutta. So these two are the clubs that I was actively involved in.
And I am sure this entire handling the club teaches you a lot. It is like running a small company, or getting a sponsorship for something, managing the entire stuff is definitely very learning. So a very good experience. So it must have shaped you, right?
Yes, sir. There are a lot of instances that did that. You work in a team. You also manage your juniors who sometimes implement a lot of work on your behalf. And you also interact with companies who not just sponsor you, but collaborate as well. For instance, uh, for the competition that we were organizing as part of the Consult Club. Uh, so this is a competition that the Consult Clubs of IIM, BC, and ISB organized together.
Mhm.
And on behalf of all the institutes, I was interacting with the representatives from Samagra Consulting. So we got them on board and they provided the problem statement, evaluated the solutions. All of it was certainly fulfilling and full of learning at the same time.
So, any guest speaker session or any workshop which left a deep impact on you, if you would want to share?
Although there are a lot of those, but then one particular talk certainly stands out. So it was a part of a course called Creating Customer Centric Ventures. It is essentially about creating startups and fast paced innovation. So the course is structured in such a way that you get an exciting problem statement, you work on an innovative solution, you test the market for it, you create the entire business plan, and ultimately you implement the business plan all within 20 weeks.
Okay.
So 20 weeks or 10 weeks? Yeah, 10 weeks. So that was one subject that I quite that I liked a lot. And as part of that, we had a lot of group guest faculty sessions, and one of those was with Mr. Hari Pala Subramaniam. He's a famous investor, and he has invested in startups like Spinny, Rapido, Box 8 Meals, Wow Momos, and a lot of other startups as well. So interacting with him one on one, talking to him face to face was one experience that I will always remember.
So, if you have to go back in time, and would you want to change something in those 2 years? Any approach, or was it the best which you could give?
I think, sir, life happened the way it had to, and I have no regrets. I would not change anything.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, last question. Yeah, where do you see your career going, or what is your plan to shape your career for the next 5, 10 years?
So for now, in the short run, I plan on staying in consulting. That was my dream job for since I started preparing for MBA. I've gotten it, so I would want to work here across industries, for different clients to understand business better and improve upon my skills. And when it comes to the long term, I haven't planned that ahead as of now. So I would definitely want to take things as they come along.
So, thank you, Shivam. Thanks for sharing your journey. And I'm sure this will help the current students a lot. They will get inspired. They would want to emulate you, learn from your experience. So, it was a good conversation with you. I wish you the best for your upcoming BCG stint. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me on. It is always a pleasure to give back, to interact with students and guide them, which is why I also started one-on-one mentorship on my LinkedIn. So if any student who's preparing for CAT or other management exams wants to ask me any kind of question, you can always head over to my LinkedIn and I have a form over there to fill it. And whenever I have time, I will definitely reply.
Right. So we will drop the link of your LinkedIn form in the video, in the comment section of the video. Students can connect you over there, and obviously it will be very helpful for them. So thank you. Thanks once again. All the best.